I'm Antonia Mercarella, CEO of the REIQ. Welcome to Close-Ups, a series where we delve into the worlds of agents working in the property industry. In this season, we'll be exploring all things health and well-being related and learning how agents cope with the increasing demands of the property sector. And what better way to explore this topic than with a wonderful and decadent spa treatment here at Stephanie's. I'll be going toe to toe, quite literally, as we enjoy a foot spa and a chat. So let's find out how these agents are prioritising their mental and physical well-being whilst also running a successful real estate practice. We're now welcoming Nyree Ewings, sales professional with LJ Hooker Cleveland. Welcome, Nyree.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So what I wanted to do is I want to talk a little bit about your routines and your disciplines. I know that we've talked about the fact that you've now cut caffeine out of your life and limited alcohol, so that's a good starting point. Tell us about that decision.
Yeah, sure. I went on a retreat about 18 months ago, and part of the detox was getting off the coffee and off the alcohol as well. So I just sort of kept in with the coffee for quite a while, and you know, it wasn't really about the coffee or the health benefits or negatives around it, but it was just more about a discipline thing and making sure that I didn't need to wake up to something and just follow a routine. So it was just more about discipline and getting some self-control back.
So is it about the discipline that it gives you, or is it that you felt like coffee and alcohol was perhaps playing too much of a role in getting you through the day and the night?
I think sometimes it's just really socially easy to just have coffees all the time, as it is just to sort of come home and pour a wine as well. So,
yeah.
So trying not to drink sort of Monday to Thursday, but you know, happy to have a wine Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but trying to sort of
all in moderation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but sort of limit the alcohol intake during the week, making sure I'm sort of fully present and sort of nice and clear in the head. And yeah,
I like that, making sure you're present.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, again, you have a bit of a routine when you get home at night.
Yep.
It starts in the car in the driveway.
Yep.
So talk to us a little bit about what that looks like and that ritual. I really like the way you talk about showering away the day.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that coming home routine that you roll out.
I think sometimes it's difficult to have a real end to the day when you're in real estate because it's such a 24/7 thing. So, you know, when I sort of get home at night, you know, spending an extra sort of 5 minutes in the car, just sort of unwinding, even if it's not working, but maybe sort of just reading some news before I sort of get in, which is something that I like to do that relaxes me. I like reading about sort of what's going on when I get the chance.
Yeah.
But once I come in the house, you know, going upstairs straight away for a shower and just showering off all the energies for the day. You know, you're sort of with a lot of people and you're in a lot of homes as well. So just showering off those energies just so that I can, again, just be, you know, sort of, you know, really neutral when I come back downstairs and I'm with my partner and the kids and things like that to sort of start the meal for the night.
I really like that idea of showering away the day, and I think that's really interesting because you do spend so much of your time in other people's houses.
Yeah.
That brings certain energy, so I like that
Very
idea
much.
of showering it away. And I hope you don't mind me bringing up, you have a ready-made family.
Yes.
You have stepchildren in your life.
Yep.
Tell us a bit about how has that impacted your life, coming home to a much fuller household, and of course all the issues that come with teenage children. I'm very familiar with this.
Sure. Yeah, so I managed to skip kids and went straight to teens, but they're actually really good kids.
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot. So we've sort of got them week on, week off. And you're right, I mean, the house is really full and it's noisy and it can be messy and all those things as well. But dinner time for me has always been, you know, our family time. So making sure that I'm home there ready to, you know, not make dinner because I don't cook, but, you know, sit there with everybody to have a meal. And then if I need to, you know, sort of after I've sort of cleaned up everything, you know, then sort of get back to work if necessary. But, you know, I think just having that time to sit at the family table and you know, sort of ask them some really good quality questions, you know, sort of about what's happening in their lives and things like that too. But often that's sort of still picking them up and dropping them off to work as well in that time as well.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we've talked before about the importance of being present, which can be really challenging. You're there in body,
Yep.
But you're not really listening. You're thinking about that next deal or you're thinking about something related to work. Is that something that that you still find challenging, or do you feel like you've navigated that successfully?
You know, it can depend on the market. It can depend on how demanding things are at the time, you know, whether there's, you know, sort of more buyer inquiries, more seller inquiries. You know, obviously we've just been through this, you know, sort of pretty intense 2-year phase now. So, you know, I think it can just depend on sort of where things are at. But otherwise I'll just excuse myself into another room and go and sort of get done what I need to get done first. Or, you know, if I'm sitting there with a family or spending time together, I'll say to them, I'm waiting on a particular phone call or a particular email. And if I get that, I'm just going to have to excuse myself. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And so let's talk now about just very practical techniques that you use. You've mentioned that you do frequent Stephanie's Spa at Cleveland.
Sure do, absolutely.
So is some indulgence part of the way that you relax?
I think a little bit of it is like that, you know, sort of whether it's a facial somewhere, whether it's a massage somewhere, you know, or whether it's like, you know, sort of a more targeted treatment or something like that. But just sort of making sure you get just that little bit of me time, just that little bit of balance with everything too.
Yeah.
I know obviously a lot of people sort of talk about, you know, meditation and all that sort of stuff. I managed to sort of get to yoga, you know, once a fortnight and go for a walk with my team. So I take them to yoga and we go for a walk. You know,
nice. You take
once
your
a week.
team
So it's
to
a
yoga?
weekly thing.
Nice,
yeah, just to sort of make sure that they're getting the opportunity to move their bodies as well.
Yes.
You know, and it's a great way to sort of have some of those personal conversations outside of the office as well.
Yeah, that's
and then sort of
nice.
head out for breakfast too. But, you know, I'm really big in gratitude as well. So, you know, sort of every night when I put my head on the pillow, you know, sort of whether it's you want to pray to a God or whether it's the universe or whatever it is for you, you know, just sort of, you know, expressing my gratitude and things like that as well for the things that I've got.
Is that something you do on a daily basis,
Absolutely.
reflecting on the day and what you feel grateful for?
Absolutely. And at 3 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Not getting cranky about not being able to sleep, but just
And
but
that
just seeing it for what
happens,
it
right?
is.
Waking up in the middle of the night,
Totally.
having those panic moments, albeit that you're a very successful agent.
Yeah,
I think.
probably not panic ones, just can't sleep.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
I reckon 50% of the time I'm up at 3 a.m.
Right.
Yeah, somewhere between 2 and 4 I'm awake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I just want to also talk about the role that technology plays in helping you find that balance.
Yeah.
I know that you've adopted technology to try and, I guess, make the role easier.
Yeah.
You're a big believer in things like electronic signatures, getting contracts done online. I know you use other tools as well.
Yep.
How has that played a role in helping you achieve that work-life balance?
It's honestly made a really massive change because, you know, before, early on in my career, I'd be racing around till 10 or 11 or even 12 at night, sort of getting signatures, you know, trying to get a decision.
The face-to-face contract.
Yeah, well, having to, because there was
Yeah.
no other sort of real means. And not everybody had fax machines at home sort of back then as well, or printers too. So, you know, I think from the electronic side, it's changed things immensely. You know, and people, especially in the market we've been through the last 2 years, which is quite fast-paced, have become more and more used to using electronic means too.
Yes.
So that means being able to actually be at home and operate from there. So whether it is because we use a CRM of Rex in our office,
Right.
so whether it is that I'm doing like a price change after hours, or I'm flicking through photos, or changing the order of something, I can access that at home myself, which is awesome. Obviously using RealWorks to type the contract, and then Secure Exchange to send it out via DocuSign as well. So, you know, having access to all
So you're literally
those
doing
tools.
the whole thing online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And so just finally to wind up, Nyree, I guess for anyone watching this who is finding that work-life balance a bit of a struggle, any final tips that you would offer to someone about just some good ways of getting that balance back into check?
Yeah, I think it just depends on where they're out of balance. I think sometimes we can be personally out of balance when sometimes the business isn't. But sometimes the business can be out of balance. And sometimes it's the small activities that aren't getting done right or efficiently or effectively. You know, I think it's not worrying about, you know, what the market's doing. You need to know what the market's doing, and you've got to be educated around that. But just understanding that being fearful of any changes, whether it's positive or negative, any of those things, you know, that you're worrying about, it's just not going to change the outcome of it.
Excellent advice. Thanks, Nyree. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We'd like to give a special shout out to Stephanie's for hosting us today. Synonymous for luxury, innovation, and curated beauty, the award-winning Stephanie's collection of day spas are committed to unsurpassed guest service and unparalleled spa therapy. For a short time, they're extending a 10% discount on any treatment with a 60-minute duration or more. Mention the promo code REIQ at the time of booking to receive this special offer. I'm Antonia Mercarella, and this has been Close Ups. Thanks so much for joining us.